my grandfather, Carroll Daniel. Carroll was his name. A lot of people think that's two different names, but that was his called name. It was Carroll Ephraim Daniel. And I always say if your choices were Carroll and Ephraim, he chose Carroll to be his called name. He was from a town in northern Virginia, about 45 minutes to the west of D.C. His father was a grist miller and on a tributary of the Potomac there, and he was building some houses in the Maryland area when World War II broke out. Was in the Corps of Engineers and was stationed at Fort McPherson in Atlanta. And while he was there, somebody sent him up to buy a building permit in Gainesville, Georgia, where he met what would become my grandmother, who was in Edmondson, working at the building department. She was working for the city of Gainesville, I guess, at the time, as the story goes. So that's how the Daniel family got to Gainesville, Georgia. And after he was released from service in 1945-46, he founded the company in the fall of 46 and was originally a building supply business. And then soon thereafter, they began building in the Gainesville area. I think the first project they built was for Mr. Peck, downtown, midtown Gainesville.
Well, we were stationed in the Aleutian Islands when we got a call that Ed's dad had had a cerebral hemorrhage and he needed to come home. Ed, he told he told all the employees, he gathered them together after Carroll died and said to them, I never intended to come back and do this. But he said, I'm here. I'm 23 years old, and if you will bear with me and work with me, I'm going to make this work. And that's the attitude he had from the very beginning. He wanted to see it succeed, and he wanted it to be Carroll Daniel Construction. He was, at 22, it was like standing in the middle of a whirlwind because he just didn't know everything he needed to know. We had great people working with us. But L.D. Lawson reached out and said, I'm going to be here for you. Lloyd Strickland. There were so many. Clyde Cox, who worked at Chicopee for so many years. Those three men in particular, they walked my husband through so much. And he looked to them as his mentors. And they had all been friends of his dad, and they helped to get him where he was.
I had gone to college and worked in Atlanta after college, going to graduate school down there, and I was fortunate enough to come back and get 1 year of working with my father before he passed away in 2003. I was 28 years old, so there's a which is awfully young. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of difference in 23 and 28. We grew and fostered in this place we're from, and we've taken those in some cases. Our public business, we learned how to build schools and public buildings in Hall County, and we've taken that show on the road and been able to do that in other communities all across the state and the Southeast. Certainly for our industrial business, we to this day. We do a lot of food and beverage work. We do a lot of poultry work. No coincidence that Gainesville, Georgia is the poultry capital of the world. So we played a small part in building this community, but we have benefited tremendously from living in Gainesville, Georgia. So this question is stewardship. What is a steward? It's a keeper, that word has several different meanings. I mean, I think of myself as a steward of this business. I was, it's a family business. It was here when I got here, and I hope it's here when I'm gone. So that's sort of what I think of as stewardship. I leave it a little better than I found it. And then, you take that same definition and you put it towards community. And so we very much believe in our role in our community. And we work in a lot of different communities. So we believe in that every community we work in. But our home office is in Hall County. My home is in Hall County, and we very much believe in being a great steward of this community, a partner in the community. And I think I always like to quote the great James Mathis. The Mathis family always talks about paying a little rent in your community, and I I subscribe to that. I hope we paid a little rent over time in this community, and it's been good to us, and we could never repay this community for the blessings we've had being from this place. So we're very fortunate. The question is, what do we hope to see in Gainesville and the community? I'm a construction business, so I'm an advocate of responsible growth for sure. I'm always so proud of our city leadership that they've done a great job of setting a vision, really involving stakeholders from our communities and what do we want our community to be in the future, and master planning out where we want to go as a community, and then being very deliberate about achieving milestones along those that path.